welcome to Shades of Gay, the show where we give you news, views, and a little touch of shade. I'm Susan, and as ever, I am joined tonight by Jay Molyneux.
Cheers!
With his gorgeous Shades of Gay mug, and also by Rob Partridge. Rob, where are you joining us from tonight?
I've just come outside to sit in the sun in my cabana. Brad's just finishing off a little bit of light lunch for us. Obviously, I'm not telling you the exact location because I can just do without everybody coming down. But, you know, this is where I am at the moment. As you can see, it's glorious here.
We don't want the paparazzi rolling up on you or anything.
God, like no, not like last week.
No.
when I was in that village hall last week, that was awful.
Well, it looks like your weather is better than my weather where I am because
It's beautiful.
I'm delighted for you, you bastard. Also joining us on tonight's episode, we have the wonderful, the talented, the gifted musical genius. The gorgeous, sorry. Well, you see, he doesn't go for me, so it doesn't really matter. Sean Rowland, welcome.
Hi guys.
To the show, Sean. How are you?
I'm super. Thank you very much for having me. I'm actually on flying form. Thank you. Delighted. Very, very honoured to be part of this, actually.
Well, we are delighted to have you on board, and we can't wait to, as ever, after we've covered how our week has been and what our topics are, we'll have a chat with Sean about what's going on for him. But as with most shows, we're going to start with how everybody's week was. So, Rob, let me start with you. How has your week been?
My week hasn't been too bad. I've done... Yeah, that's about it. That's about as much as I've done. This week I've done very little. I've had 2 glorious weeks at home with my manservant Brad and the houseboy Brad and obviously the husband Brad as well. And now I'm fit and ready to go back to work, and I'm starting back on Sunday, and I'm very much looking forward to it, just to get out of the house.
Did sex slave Brad leave you for the 2 weeks?
No, he's around, but you know, I've really had to give him some time off.
Funny how they're all named Brad.
Yeah.
I have to name them all Brad because then at least someone will come when I shout.
How many Brads do you have in total?
I can't reveal that kind of information.
Right, it's okay.
I mean, it makes an awful lot of sense because I have, 3 sons, and when I try to call one of them, I always call the other's name. So, I mean, I should have just named them all the same thing, which would have simplified things.
It works so well.
Massively. Yeah. Jay, how has your week been, my darling?
It's been good, thank you. Yeah, just doing the same old. Teaching the few classes that I have at the moment on Zoom, out walking the pup, nothing exciting. Today was a little bit of a bummer though. Kind of got a little bit of bad news. 2 people that I know and I'm very close to were both tested positive for COVID. And I actually found that news out today. But they're both doing well. They're both okay. They're at home. Thankfully, they haven't been admitted to hospital or anything. They're going to monitor them, and if they get any worse, then obviously they'll have to then go into hospital. But they're doing well, and that's the main thing. And other than that, the week has been absolutely fine. Thank you.
Yay! And how about you, Sean? How has your week been?
My week is on flying form, to be honest. It's Thursday, so that for me that's Friday Eve, so that's always a good start. And the beginning of the week, I actually, you see behind me, I started to learn to play the cello. So that's how my week started off. And to be fair, then I've just been working day in, day out, that kind of a way, and just chilling out. You can't really do much at the moment, but the best news of all though today is that we've got about 4 foot of snow outside there. The snow came down in buckets overnight, and it's actually gorgeous out there right now. So after this, once we've done, I'm actually going to go outside and have a little walk, because I suppose living in Galway, we never used to get that much snow, did we? We're very seldom in Galway, but like back over here in Leeds, which is where I am now at the moment, we're very Midlands, and we're quite high up. So you tend to get a lot of snow, and I completely forgot how much snow Leeds can get, especially in the winter, obviously. So that has actually really brightened up my week. It's gorgeous out there.
Oh, you've broke my heart into teeny tiny pieces. I am, and anyone who's known me for a while, I am the biggest snow bunny on the planet. I get excited if there's like I got excited before Christmas because I found an Insta filter that did snow. And that put me in a good mood for the full day. Like, I love snow so much. And like you say, we never, ever get it. We do, the weather forecast. So, okay, here, we're going to go into my total nerdery now for a couple of minutes on two different topics when it comes to how my week has been. Other people around the country got some snow last week and I was devastated. And so I put up a post for people to send me their pictures of snow to cheer me up. And of course they did. And it cheered me up to a degree, except for the fact that I wanted to kill them all because I was jealous. But I can admit that. So I love snow so much, but the long range forecast for next week actually has the words beast from the east in them. And when you have a beast from the east, yeah, I get so excited. The beast from the east or a polar vortex, Susan starts, my watch is binging because my heart rate's so high and I'm getting so excited. So there is a slim possibility of us having a really cold spell, which means you'll get it before us. So you'll get more snow if this comes to pass. But it's at a time that's called Fantasy Island in forecasting. So it's Fantasy Island. We think it might happen, but it could be just us being really hopeful.
Right.
I wonder if I subconsciously knew that, because last night I had awful night's sleep. I woke up at 2:00. One of the Brads was snoring and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I thought, right, I'm just going to get up. So I got up and I sat on the settee. I had a cup of tea and 2 Pop-Tarts. And then I lay down with the blanket over me, trying to get to sleep. And in my sleep-addled state, I went online shopping and only discovered when I woke up this morning and checked my email, the 4 emails from Amazon saying that my orders were confirmed and being dispatched. And one of them was some walking boots. So I wonder if Now, I also ordered a set of sponges, a back scrubber, and a green morph suit. Why did I order a green morph suit?
What does a green morph suit do? Is that for like...
With that green morph suit and your green screen, you're going to have a lot of fun. I can tell.
I would imagine that suit is probably for one of the Brads, maybe.
Possibly, yes.
Quite possibly. Well, I think the most important question about that story is, what flavour were the Pop-Tarts?
Chocolate.
Yes.
Chocolate?
Okay.
That needed to be
I know everybody watching at home is going, I wonder what flavour Pop-Tarts he had.
I haven't had a Pop-Tart in years, and that has just been like, oh my God, I need to get Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts and pop noodles.
Do you put them in the toaster, Rob, or do you eat them straight? Because I eat them straight out of the packet. Like, I don't put them in the toaster or anything. Depends
on my mood. I decided last night to eat them straight out of the packet because there was no way in my sleep-addled state I was going to be able to work a toaster. Thank God we have a coffee machine where I just press a button and it gives me a coffee. If I'd got to put the kettle on, no, we'd have been talking A&E with how drained I was. So, yeah, no, there was no touching the toaster last night. And I've got Brad's to do that for me, so, you know.
There you go.
I have to make a confession. I've never, ever had a Pop-Tart.
Oh, my God, I'm bringing
I do not know what they taste like.
As soon as lockdown finishes, I am bringing Pop-Tarts to you. We'll have a Pop-Tart party!
And I can give you all this Aramac I've been keeping for you.
Pop-Tart party. That's got a right ring to it. Yeah. Pop-Tarts and Prosecco.
Oh, yes. Thank goodness lockdown is going to last until the end of dry January for me. Because, yeah, Pop-Tarts and Prosecco sounds like a great night. That should be our staff party that we didn't get to have over Christmas. So with that out of the way, and we all know how our weeks have been, we're going to move on to our topics. And I think since we started with Rob for the how your week has been, we'll start with Jay for his topic. Jay, what would you like us to answer this evening?
So this evening we are going into the land of television, and I wanted to talk about reality TV because it is such a huge part of television and entertainment right now. So I want to hear people's thoughts on reality TV. How real is it? And do you think it's kind of run its course, that, you know, it's had its day, enough's enough, let's move on and stick with regular good old entertainment?
Who do you want to go to first?
Well, let's start with Mama.
Reality TV. First off, that actual phrase itself is complete and utter bullshit. Reality TV. I think there's very little reality TV in any of these reality TV shows. The ones that come from America, especially, complete and utter bollocks. It's so staged. It just makes watching these kind of shows completely and utterly unenjoyable when you know how staged they are. As for some of the shows that come out of Ireland and the UK, I think some of them are done quite well. I don't watch it, but Strictly, I think technically that's a reality show, and I think that's a good kind of reality show. As much as I can't stand it anymore, The X Factor, I think that's a good reality show. I think parts of it are fixed, parts of it are staged, but I still think as a nation we're getting to see a host of new talent. We're giving some people who do have amazing talent the opportunity to show it. Even if they don't get through to the finals or they don't get chosen, they're still getting a chance to stand on stage and sing in front of 1,000 odd people. So I kind of like those things. But it's things like Big Brother. I can't stand it. It's exploitative TV. You are attacking people's psyche in some way. Come Dine With Me. I kind of like the idea of Come Dine With Me, but I would rather they just got their psychologists and found 4 or 5 people who actually will get on and let them cook a dinner for each other. That I would find far more enjoyable than the nasty bitchiness sat in the back of a taxi. Oh, I'm only going to give him 7 because, well, do you know, that food, it wasn't that great. I'm like, fuck off. That food looked fantastic. You're just being mean. So any kind of reality TV that exploits people just for viewers, I'm not interested. I think it's awful. I think they're abhorrent and should be completely banned. Love Island, ugh, God, get rid of it. Awful show. But anything that brings a bit of light entertainment that's innocent, such as Strictly, X Factor, etc., then bring it on. Let's have more of those. Here endeth the sermon. Welcome to my TED Talk.
Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, do you know, in fairness, I think Rob hit a lot of the nail on the head there as well. There's a lot of trashy kind of reality TV out there, isn't there? Do you know, the stage stuff? To be fair, I've never really sat through a full episode of, you know, The Only Way is Essex or the Kardashians or something like that, because 5 or 10 minutes into it, and you're like, this is just it's pure bollocks. And we all know that these things are scripted. So then where does it go from being reality TV to something that's staged? And for me, it doesn't hold my attention. But it's incredibly popular, though. There's an addiction with it, I think, isn't there? People are addicted to these kind of shows. And it's like sugar, or it's like whatever else. When you get this little bit of a fix, you kind of want more. So I think the producers, they know what they're doing, and it sells. The TV channels are buying this stuff, aren't they? For me, it is pure shite, you know. I think if touching back on Rob's point there about the X Factor and that kind of thing, back in the day, definitely the X Factor, it was that platform, and we all remember the Shane Wards and all those, you know, for those viewers that may not, but the earlier winners, it was a real platform, wasn't it? And it was innocent, and it was done very genuinely. I think now there's so much in it. Britain's Got Talent used to be a great show until the last 2 or 3 years. And I think that has become so much more staged than it ever was before. You can almost predict what's going to happen. And actually being in touch with Britain's Got Talent before, and I know other people that have as well, you've got a production team that actually, they're in touch with you beforehand, and they're giving you X, Y's and Z's of what you need to do and what you don't need to do. You know, and I think that just totally takes away from it all completely. And I've stopped watching Britain's Got Talent for that reason. And to be fair, I think they need to shift it a good bit. The voice is a bit different now. The voice doesn't seem as staged at all. You don't often have the big sob story and all the rest. So that's a little bit more entertaining. But the stuff I would like, I think, let's see, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I actually think that's quite entertaining. Again, you know, I don't think the producers don't really make too much happen. They let it take its natural course. And I think you have Ant and Dec then that make it very humorous. So I watch that kind of thing. I think that is quite entertaining. But yeah, the other stuff, the Kardashians and all that, is pure shy. I wouldn't go near it, do you know, in fairness. But I do love Gogglebox. Is that reality TV? I don't know. Could be. It probably is, isn't it?
It's one of those that I just find exploitative.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I hate it with a passion. And I think one of the reasons I hate it is because if you don't watch it, if you take everything out and all you have is the title and what it's about, why would anybody be interested in it? Now, yes, okay, you have to go and see it to get that interest. But if I said to you, here, Sean, for half an hour, you get to sit down and watch people watch TV. Oh my God, how much fun is that? And you're like, what the fuck is he on about? I don't want to do that.
But it is fun. I actually really enjoy it. And you feel like you sat on the couch with these people. And I think it feels like you're kind of in their homes with them. And there's a kind of sense of family and friends. And it's just general. You can imagine having the crack with the person you're sat next to, just like they do as well. So I think, as far as reality TV goes, I think that's a little bit different. And I do think there's a lot of positives with that. It's very innocent, isn't it?
Do you know
I think it's the most harmless of reality TV.
Harmless, yeah. There's no risk of having negative effects on society when you watch things like Gogglebox. You know, the chat shows now. You know, the old Jeremy Kyles and all that kind of thing. That kind of stuff we know has had negative effects on the people being on the show and people watching it as well. But often I find when you watch shows like that and you see how shit people's lives are, there's a part of you that goes, "Oh, I'm a bit better than that."
I have to say, I absolutely can't stand reality TV in any of its forms. The only one that was mentioned that I have watched and that I have enjoyed to some degree is The Voice. And the reason I've enjoyed that so much, though, is purely down to will.i.am. He's just so funny.
With I'm not a huge fan of like the scripted stuff, like the Towies and the Made in Chelseas and stuff like that. I've never watched an episode of Kardashians. That wouldn't be my gig at all. The talent shows kind of things, yes, I would be into to a certain extent. Certainly Big Brother at the beginning was a huge fan, but that's because when Big Brother did come out initially, the first couple of years, I will say, it was produced and brought out in the format that it was created as a social experiment. And then once it kind of took off after the second kind of season, after that, then it just became, let's throw in the most ridiculous characters we can, lock them away and let them away with it. Then it kind of started to lose. But in regards to the talent shows and stuff, I was actually on a reality talent show back in 2005.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm a believer. Like for me, the reason why I signed up for it was it was a dance show on the BBC called Strictly Dance Fever, and it was kind of like a Strictly Come Dancing, but it was for just regular folk, and you could audition as an individual or as a couple. If you auditioned as an individual, they would pair you with somebody, so you'd end up in a couple. And I auditioned because I wanted an opportunity. I was looking to further my dance abilities and my dance career. And sure, look, what better way if you can get on national television whilst doing it? You know what I mean? Then during the process, I was very naive in the beginning because I was like, this is just a reality TV show. And then the further I got in the process and the more rounds I got through, the more I started picking up on lots of tiny little stuff that I was like, oh, that's not okay. I don't like that. So for instance, so I was appearing on the live show one Saturday night, and they had sent a camera crew out to film myself and my partner. Now, myself and my partner, we got on okay. We weren't best mates, but we got on fine. we both were kind of like, look, we've got a job to do, let's do it. Her mom was very much a stage mom, very overbearing, overpowering, and caused a lot of issues. So when it came to recording our little VT for the beginning and little promos and stuff, you know, they would stop recording and they would say, okay, Jay, will you now go? Oh yeah, and her mom is so annoying and her mom is such a bitch and her mom is this and blah, blah, blah. And I went, no, because I would never say something like that about someone's mother. I would never say about, you know, that's just not who I am. And they were like, yeah, but you know, it's fine. Just, so I kept refusing to say stuff. And this happened on more than one occasion where they had asked me to say certain stuff and they, you know, fed me lines and said, okay, so now can you look at the camera and say this? And now, and I kept refusing if it was something that I wasn't comfortable with saying.
If it weren't for the show The Apprentice, would we have ended up with Donald Trump as president? Now you can ponder that. And while you do that, Rob, what is your topic for this week?
So earlier this week, Russell T Davies was trying to promote this next show he's got coming out. He suggested that straight actors should be banned from playing gay roles. Wentworth Miller, the actor from Prison Break, who came out a couple of years ago, he has actually publicly stated, and this was only a couple of months ago, that he will no longer play straight roles. He will only play gay roles. That's fine. But I want to know what you think about this whole idea of saying that straight men can no longer play gay characters. What do you think about that? And I'll ask Sean. Sean, what do you think?
I think it's ridiculous. And if you're an actor, you're an actor. I think the whole this. I do remember this kind of being a thing at some stage ago, and it kind of passed me by. I thought, what is this bullshit people are talking about now? And I didn't really pay much attention to it. But when you think about it, if you are playing a character, regardless of your own sexual orientation, and if you're playing a gay man and you're a straight man, I think you just study and practice that role like you would any other role. Like Hannibal, what was it? Anthony Hopkins and Hannibal Lecter. I mean, you have to be Hannibal to play that role. I think it's bonkers. But then I was doing it, just obviously looking into it a little bit more, and like that, people, you know, actors have said that they'll specifically not play a role that's opposite to their own sexual orientation because they feel that they're not able to give it what it needs. That for me thinks I would take from that you're doubting your own abilities. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, but the bottom line for me is I think it's just utter bollocks. Like we've all been on stage, right? I know we've all been on stage here. When you go on stage, when you are acting in any kind of way, you're on stage, you become somebody else, right? Within reason. And I just think, you know, I could be a choir director when I'm on stage, but I don't spend my whole life being a choir director. But you do take on a persona. You're acting. Do you know, that kind of a way? And I just think whether you're straight or gay, you should be able to, and you should be comfortable. Maybe people aren't comfortable doing it.
My issue with this is I kind of similar to along the lines of something you said earlier. So people saying that they won't take on a gay role because they don't feel able to do it justice. In my head, I would be thinking, okay, well, I don't want you in my play then, or in my film, because if you aren't able to take on that role, you know, your acting abilities obviously aren't very good. I appreciate that some actors from the LGBT plus community do get overlooked. It's a known fact. The discrimination is there. It's obviously there. So rather than saying that straight people shouldn't play gay roles, what I would rather see personally is we have this character who identifies as gay, bi, whatever. We'd like gay and bi actors to audition for it first. And if at the end of that time you don't find someone who can take the role on as well as you think, then you let everybody else go for it. Jay, what do you think about it?
Yeah, well, it's that double-edged sword for me, because I'm like, if you say that, you know, straight people shouldn't be playing gay roles, well then should gay people be playing straight roles? So there's that comes with it. What I would say is I've auditioned numerous times as a dancer for stuff, and I've performed pas de deux or adages with the girl where I'm supposed to be in love with her, and I know it's not acting, but it is a form of acting, and I've done it because that's my job. I've also been the other side of the table working with musical societies where I'm auditioning people for stuff, and at the end of the day I am a believer in, look, the best person on the day should get the role. So if you come in and you're giving an open night performance, regardless of what your orientation is, well then, I think that the part should be yours. There's that new series on Netflix, Bridgerton. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it. It's like a 19th century Gossip Girl.
Yeah. But, really good music on that. There's great music in it. Sorry.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Anthony Bridgerton, he's openly gay, and he's playing a heterosexual character in this show. So, like you said, Rob, if someone came in and said, like, I don't want to play a gay character because I don't feel comfortable, well then, fuck you.
It will never apply to me because I'm bisexual, so I can do it all.
You've got it all. You've got it all.
Got it all. But it's slightly ludicrous, like to ban the banning of anything. Yes, of course, we absolutely need to be lifting up members of minority groups and doing whatever we can to bring them to what we would call equal outcomes. But at the same time, you also need to get the best person for the job. So if you have a selection of 5 gay people who are all absolutely shite actors and 1 really good straight actor, come on.
It's no
you know what I mean? You have to go for the person who is, if you have 1 gay person auditioning for this role who is equal to the person if they're both exceptionally
then go
good actors, then go for the gay actor. Could do that, but to say it's banned just seems like it's overkill for me. Oh, very good. Well, very interesting topics tonight, folks. I've really enjoyed both of those. Lots to ponder and lots to think about. Just out of curiosity, and I'm only asking for a yes or no, if we hadn't have had The Apprentice, would Donald Trump be president?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm a no. Anyway, onward.
I said no with the political one. Yay!
And you were right.
Yes, and I didn't even have to Google anything. Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Just so you know, Sean, sometimes I have to Google some stuff because these 2 brain boxes will like put in words and say words that she doesn't know.
And you're like, what? So,
well, I'll openly admit it. I'm like, I had to Google that.
I'm with you on that. I Google stuff all the time. I'm like, I get it. If you're on the phone, you're like, I get that. And next thing you're like, Google.
Oh, you should listen. I've died like 4 times over from Google. Like I should be dead 4 times. But when you get sick, you get your symptoms, like dead, gone.
All right, yeah, Dr. Google.
You're gone. So with all of that done, Sean, I'm going to zoom in and focus in on you for a little bit.
Oh no.
So we first met. I admit I don't.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh my God, that was Siri on my watch saying, I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, it's okay. We don't understand either, Siri. You're good, girl. You're good.
Why are you zoning in on a gay man? This makes no sense.
Siri wants to get in on that action. Dirty bitch.
So I don't know you all that well. We met back, you were directing choir. That I joined, so that's where we first met a couple of years ago, and that's pretty much the most of your work that I'm aware of. Was with directing choirs, and you directed a magnificent choir in Galway for up until you moved back to Leeds. that you were having a really, really successful run of it. And I saw you at a couple of events and balls and things like that. And you were phenomenal. And the vocalists were phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up becoming a choir director and a little bit of your background in the world of music.
Right, yeah. Well, I played the piano since I was 9 years old. And I was in school, and I was just obsessed with the teacher that was playing the piano at the time. And I remember myself going, God, this is just amazing. I just used to watch her all the time. And then one day she said, right, lunchtime, come and see me. And for 2 years then what she did, she gave me piano lessons at school. Like, I'm from a family of 8, that kind of a way. And there wasn't money to burn back then, that kind of a way. So these piano lessons, they were like gold dust. They were expensive. So she'd give up her lunch hour or half hour, whatever it might have been, and teach me the piano for the couple of years at primary school. I was hooked. I then went to high school at the age of 12, and I kind of picked up the guitar. And the guitar teacher was also the choir mistress at the time. So I said to her, look, can you teach me some guitar? I had no real interest in the choir at all, that kind of a way. It wasn't really for me. I just wanted to learn guitar from her. So I was learning guitar for a few weeks, and I got to tell her that I could play the piano as well. Bear in mind, I was only like 12, like down here. So she's right, upstairs you and get the keyboard from the music department. Bring the keyboard down, like down here, like literally down here. Bring the keyboard down, and she said, right, can you play this? And she gave me some music. I think it was I Don't Know How to Love Him from Jesus Christ Superstar. And in my little 2 years of playing, I actually managed to thrash out a bit of a tune. And she was like, right, that is it. You're now playing the piano for the school choir. And she had me hooked, and she had me in it. So for the next, 12 until I was 27, when I moved to Galway, I continued to play the piano for her choir. And at the time, just doing whatever else I could with helping run the school choir. So as an adult, I'd go back into school and do all the rehearsals and do the performances and all the rest of it. And there were so many other students like myself that used to go back into school because this teacher had us hooked. She was brilliant at what she did. And it was from there I was like, there's something about these choirs. And it was really, I'd done a few choir bits and pieces back in Leeds, but it was only really when I got to Galway and maybe only 5 years ago, I thought, right, I'm going to set up a choir, and I set up a choir, the one that Susan was in, and that lasted maybe a year or a year and a half, I can't remember.
I ruined it.
You ruined it, yeah. And after that, then I set up the choir that you were talking about, was the Tritones. And that's when, it went from here to here in terms of choirs and just being hooked on it, and Jay you're only as good as your choreographer, and Jay was our choreographer for the choir, so we not only have this
professional name, please. What was my
Jay,
professional
name? Auntie Jay.
I was gonna say you gave it to me, so you better remember.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, I used to say, right, guys, we've got Auntie Jay coming in tonight, and they used to love it because he's brilliant, isn't it? And that's really where the choir thing that kind of went from there to there. And it's, I will give a shout out to Anne Maguire, who was my choir mistress, who's no longer with us, but it was her inspiration, and the joy the choirs bring, the joy music brings, but the joy a choir brings is it's unrivaled. This sense of community, this sense of family. And then on top of that, you're singing as well. Like singing's like the bonus. It's everything else that goes with it. And you become this huge family with 70 members in the Tritones. Yeah. And in addition to that, then I was also asked, I was headhunted, wasn't I, Jay?
Yeah, hear your words, not mine.
We have this private joke. It's that Jay asked me to write out a bio one time for what were we doing?
You were judging lip sync.
I was judging, yeah. So he asked me to write a bio. So who likes writing bios? So I wrote something together quite quickly, and I put in there that I was headhunted by GMIT, which I was, all right. But like Jay made a massive show of this, when they were announcing it, whatever, and reading it out. It was a big joke. But anyway, formed the GMIT staff choir and the GMIT student choir, and then we managed 6 months, and I set up a project called Easy Choir. And again, this is all back in Galway. And Easy Choir started in September of 2019, and we did 6 sessions until COVID hit. And Easy Choir was this pay-as-you-go choir. It was a once-a-month thing, and we had a live band, and we learned one song in one night. And you didn't have to be any kind of a singer to come along. And you'd have grandmothers and mothers and daughters and aunts and uncles and grandfathers, like a family outing, would come and just sing and learn this song in the one night with a live band. And we have it videoed, and it lifted. People's spirits were just so lifted. And then COVID hit, and then it all went tits up, didn't it? All went tits up.
Sorry, do you want to ask a question, Rob?
I just want to go very briefly back to the bio you were on about being headhunted. Do you remember who read that bio out?
That was bloody you, wasn't it? That's right. That is right. I forgot.
Well, it wasn't Rob. It was
Dixie, and I still have it. It's still in my suitcase. All my written notes.
Have you not emptied your suitcase since that event?
No, I have, but there's certain things that stay in the back pocket as my memories, and that's one of them.
Oh, Dawn, you're in the memory pocket.
I'm in the memories box, right? Okay.
I think this is an amazing testament to how small our various communities are, in that I've known Rob for 5 years, maybe 6 years, met because of a mutual friend on Twitter. I've known Sean through choir, which must have been about 3 years ago. I had to stop going. Some politics arose, and I got sidetracked into doing the politics thing. And Jay and I met just very soon before we started doing Shades of Gay. But here we are all together on an episode, all knowing each other without kind of realizing that we would all know each other. I think there's a really nice community thing to that.
There is, and that's Galway for you, isn't it? Especially
with all of us, like I would always be very much, if I'm doing a gig and I need certain people for certain things, I would always use the same people more or less, in the terms of, I know they're professional, I know they'll turn up, I know they'll be on time, I know they'll be amazing on stage. So if I'm putting together a lip sync or an event or something, it's straight on to Mama. I'm like, hey, can you host? Same with Sean. I'm like, can you judge? Can you get the tribe tones to perform? You know what I mean? And it was the same for those guys as well. They would be very much like, oh, can you come in and do this, or would you help out with that? But that's like you said, it is that community, and it's that sense of, your people are reliable, and if they're doing a good job, then why not stick with them?
I'm looking forward to the day that you need a political analyst. Susan!
No, actually,
never say never.
I'm just about to say, you'll be surprised the stuff that Jay will organise, that he'll say, Susan?
Any chance you could come and tell us what they talked about?
I get asked to do a lot of random stuff. So, when I'm picking up the phone and I'm like, hey, do you remember that episode of Shades of Gay when you were like, hey?
Hey, do you know, soloist for the next Lark in the Land?
There you go. Got it.
Okay. I want to ask you then, Sean. I know that you also, one of the other places that I know you from, and funnily enough, one of my neighbours I know sings quite a bit, and I think that you and her did weddings together for a while, maybe. Yvonne Spellman.
Oh yeah.
Weddings, yeah. Now tag Yvonne in this, so that she knows we're talking about her. Yvonne's fantastic. But so you would have done gigs and weddings and things like that when you were in Galway as well.
Yeah. So the choir thing kind of came later on. I moved to Galway in 2007. And I started working. I'd always worked in hospitality from the age of 15 to kind of support my music career, because when you're young and you're starting out, you can't always rely on a music career at all, can you, So I was always working in hospitality. So when I moved to Galway in 2007, I actually got a job in the Harbour Hotel, in the sales office pretty much. And I was there for 6 years or 5 years. And then I kind of went part-time as the music developed. But the way the music developed was I started by doing piano gigs just for a lot of the local hotels. So, for the drinks receptions and that kind of thing. And I had a really successful time of it with the kind of the Galway Bay Hotel and the Clayton Hotel. I was their resident pianist for years and years. And then on top of that, then I developed into kind of the actual ceremony side of things. working with various singers. And yeah, you're right, Yvonne was one of them. But Yvonne is actually one of my besties now since all that came about, and she was in the Tritones. I used to teach a lot of piano, so I used to teach a young lad the piano as well. She's crackers, is Yvonne, so I hope she does get to watch this because she's brilliant. I was only chatting to her the other night. I can't wait to see her. Jane, we all know Yvonne. She's unreal.
We all know Yvonne.
You
I actually dated Yvonne.
You did, yes.
True story.
Okay,
no,
stories about someone who's not here.
Yeah.
But
you get to meet so many wonderful people in the music industry. So yes, I was playing the piano all the time then, and right up until kind of lockdown came with COVID. It was you could have 4 or 5 gigs a weekend, and then the choir stuff, and you'd be teaching during the week, and the other choirs during the week. So it was I had a cracking time of it. I really did. I was very lucky, to be fair, very fortunate that I was able to be afforded all these opportunities and just work with some wonderful people. And Galway's still home. I may not be there anymore, but it's a second. I have 2 homes.
Don't worry, we're keeping Galway warm for you. But while we're talking about your homes, I wanted to know so you moved to Leeds before, when was before September, I'm imagining? Was it September? And what are you doing over there aside from learning the cello, which you should point out behind you, and playing in the snow?
I know, I'm still going in the snow later. Another one of these. Anyway, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
What are you doing to fill your time now that you're in Leeds? Are you setting up similar initiatives in Leeds?
I will be. So when I moved from Leeds to Galway, I was able, fortunately, to take a lot of students with me online because it was all online teaching. I'm not currently teaching now since the new year. And I was also fortunate as well to be able to continue with the GMIT choirs online because all of that was moved to online. So I did 2 projects with them prior to Christmas. I've probably 2 more before the end of the academic year. So I've been dead fortunate that way. And the plan was to develop the teaching again over here and set up a new choir. Now I am going to set up a new choir, absolutely, over here in Leeds, because I miss it so much. It's actually bonkers. You don't realise until it's gone, like you just miss it. And it's nearly a year now, it was March, wasn't it? So that is a definite plan. But with every grey cloud, there is a silver lining, right? So when I moved to Leeds, I was pretty much offered a job in business development. Okay, so get this. So it's something I've always done with the hotel industry, so I could apply those skills in this new industry. But you know what the new industry is? Porn. And this I never thought would ever happen, because this is bonkers. It's in construction.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even joking. I'm business development manager for a construction firm. So yes, there's a lot of office-based work, which and all that kind of crack. But sometimes I have to go out on site. So you actually find Sean out on site with his hard hat and his high vis and his steel toe cap boots, and it's actually, I look at myself sometimes and I'm going, how the hell have I gone from this to this? It's totally, there's no step back. It's just complete opposite ends. It's like, what the fuck?
You love it being on site. I'd say you love it.
Love it. Do you know what I mean? The hat and everything. But the company that I work with, my dad works for them as well. So I've actually been on site out with my dad, and he's near retirement, he's of an age. And I think he seen me coming down on site, and it was the eldest son he never had. Do you know that kind of a way? Because my other brothers are in construction. But then when he seen Shawnee come down with the hat on, he was proud as punch. And don't get me wrong, he doesn't give a shit. He's happy with whatever I do, but it made his day. But it just goes to show that something as shit as COVID, and no disrespect to anybody, there's always positives, isn't there, to come from negatives. And I just see this opportunity, and it's a full-time job, and who doesn't want a full-time job when they need one? But I still get to be able to do my music in the evenings and the weekends, and I can do the 2 in tandem. Do you know that kind of way? So I'm dead lucky. But yeah, hard hat. I'll have to send you a picture, Jay. You'll piss yourself.
Exactly.
I would bedazzle the shit out of it. It would have sequins, it would have the works on it, absolutely.
But I keep winding the bosses up, and at Christmas especially, I said, we need some charity work, we need to do a bit of PR. I said, we'll put together a choir. Could you imagine a group of construction workers forming a choir? That shit would... Do you know what I mean? Right. Exactly, everyone's like that. But imagine that, you've had the military wives and that kind of thing, but imagine a group of construction fellas all singing in a choir. I think it'd be fantastic.
My eldest son and his friends come over, and inexplicably, for some reason, whenever these lads get together, they end up putting on the YMCA and dancing to it. And I just totally, that's where you've gone for me.
Yeah.
And you're not the first, Susan, you're not the first person to say that, in fairness. And when I tell people this is what I'm doing right now, they're just like, what the actual F? And I sit down with Dad, I'm living back at home, which is lovely. Who wouldn't want to live at home in their late 20s? But I sit with my dad sometimes, and we talk about construction. And my mum was sat there and she's like, no, this is just not happening. And then the next breath, I said to her tonight after dinner, I said, I'll go upstairs now. I'm going filming for 50 Shades of Gay. And she's like, I just don't get you. I just don't know what's going on in your life. Construction, 50 Shades of Gay,
Oh, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Well, look, I think we're pretty much out of time at this stage for this evening's episode. It has been fantastic catching up with you, Sean. Wonderful stories. I'm really looking forward to when we get to watch this back. I always find that when we're recording, I don't absorb quite as much as I do when I watch it back. So I'm really excited to watch it back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. No, honestly, I'm delighted. Thank you very much. And I know, anytime.
Absolutely. Well, the next task is going to be, we're going to get you to direct our own little miniature choir so we can do our own vocals on an intro. I'll write the lyrics, you direct us. Jay will do the choreography, and Rob will have a panic attack. While we're saying thanks, I want to say thanks to all of the viewers, to the people who've been sending us such kind messages. Keep that up. Keep talking to us. Let us know. As far as I know, Rob's hat has still not been won from an episode a little while ago. So please, all you have to do is comment below saying, I want that hat, and we will send it out to you in a heartbeat. While we're there, Rob, thank you so much for tonight. And Jay, thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you.
And from all of us here at Shades of Gay, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Bye!